You are now listening to the new Old Heads podcast, premiered every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time at BringDownTheBand.com, and brought to you by No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl, and Sun King Brewery. Support the new Old Heads by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.
Tuned in to the new Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. The entire crew is here, starting off with my man Jay Moore. How are you, sir?
As always, blessed and highly vaccinated. You know how the
game goes. Appreciate you. Good to see you, sir. My man DJ Jay Diff. What's happening, man?
Salutations. I am here and I am well.
Hey, that's what I like to hear live from the Bringing Down the Bed headquarters. My man Longevity. How are you, sir?
I am doing swell as well.
Swell as well. Hey, like that. Nice finger point there.
Bars.
All right. The chat is alive and well. Naughty Pie, we see you. Flood, I see you. Kendall Mathis, we appreciate you, sir. Angie's in here as well. We appreciate y'all. What is that noise? Sorry about that. My stopwatch has an alarm on it. I'm trying to track time for the show. So let me get my timer here that doesn't have a alarm that's going to go off. How about that? And then I think
it's 9:41.
9:41. Cool. All right. So we have our first random topic that was suggested by, I believe it was Kendall Mathis, who says favorite video game console, which actually is a pretty good one because I think we can all pretty much answer that relatively easily. So I'll just start with Lone and we'll work our way around. Favorite video game console, Lone, what you got?
PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4.
Because it's the newest one I have, and it's way better than any of the old ones. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there's definitely nostalgia related to all the previous PlayStations and Sega and NES. But, you know, until next year when I get a PS5 and there's actually games for it, you know, I think I'm going to be at the PS4 mode.
What's your go-to game for PS4?
Right now?
Yep.
Usually it's NBA 2K.
All right.
Or Call of Duty or something like that.
Or you still make random. You still make your player have all 99s? You still do that?
So as someone, again, who obviously hasn't played 2K, that's not how it works. You actually have to build your player up.
Sorry, I don't play. I'm out the game. I ain't gonna lie.
I've actually been playing 2K on my computer because it came free on Epic Games for Steam or whatever. And I think my point guard is on the Pacers and levels. He's up to 78. I dropped 56 points and had a triple-double, and we lost.
There we go.
But we lost.
What I was looking for.
But we lost.
Yeah. I was looking for the 56 points.
This is on the hardest difficulty, too. This is on the hardest difficulty. So
yeah, that's what I was looking for, the 56
Pacers
points.
Trash.
So what you're telling me is you take your character, your player, and just make him a volume shooter. Shoot a lot.
No, I mean, I shot like 65, 70% from the field. So, I mean, you know, I still had like 13 assists, you know. But I had to because everybody else sucks.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah. Sound like the Winter Soldier super serum or something to me. But anyway, Jay Diff, favorite game console, man. Go-to game. What you got?
My favorite is actually put off nostalgia. It's not even the best or my favorite as far as best gameplay or whatnot, but the first Nintendo, man, just based off of I knew a lot of people that had it. I could trade games with people. Yeah. It had attachments. Like, I don't know if y'all remember the Power Pad.
Yep.
Play like track and field on there, and it was a hack. If you use pennies on the little spots, it would make you run faster.
Oh, you was okay. You a baller? I didn't have one of those.
You just missed the whole point of being able to trade games, play with other people. The whole point, huh?
Nah, man, I'm just messing with you. I do remember that. I didn't have one, but I do remember that mug. I do remember that.
Yeah, it's something about that first Nintendo with, of course, Mario Brothers and Excite Bike, and it was a game called TNC Surf Designs, yeah, Zelda definitely. Mike Tyson's Punch Out, everybody know that.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Just so many classic games that were birthed on that system, and it was the first one that, like I said, everybody had. Like people had Atari, people had ColecoVision, but it's almost like everybody had Nintendo. Somebody on your street, you go down the street and be like, "Hey, let's trade games for a little while."
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
That's
still mad that the dude that stole my bad dudes. Well, I can find him right now, boy. We have to have a conversation. All right, man. Jay Moore.
Bad dude stole your bad dudes.
A bad dude stole my bad.
There you go.
Stole it, man. Who does that? All right. Jay Moore, favorite console. Give me a go-to game. Oh, Terry, did you have a? You don't have a? You named a whole bunch of cold games. Did you have a go-to? Something that was just necessary.
I mean, you could have picked any of the Mario Brothers.
Okay.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out, of course. You know, I mean,
3.
Come on, Bo. Come on. I mean, it just had so many classic games on that joint.
I'm with you. Jay Moore, give me a console go-to game.
You know, I got to take it to the next level from where Terry was. To me, the system I go back to even now is the Super Nintendo. You know, it also has a certain level of nostalgia because I bought a Super Nintendo with my own money because my parents wouldn't get me one. And I had to learn a real lesson that if you really want something, you're gonna have to get it on your own. You know, I wanted one for Christmas, and I remember my mom, she made a deal with me when I asked for a Nintendo because we never had an Atari because my mother's an educator and she didn't see the educational value in having an Atari in the house, so we didn't get an Atari. We got a Texas Instruments of all things, partially because you know. Bill Cosby was was the person who was endorsing it, and yeah, see how that turned out. But so we never had an Atari, but when we got a Nintendo, and I really wanted this for Christmas, when I was in the 5th grade, and my mom was like, "It's not going to get any better than this, is it?" And I was like, "No, this is the best video games at home are ever going to get." And then when I was like in the 9th grade or whenever Super Nintendo really got popping and I wanted one, and they were like, remember what you told me when it was time to get that Nintendo? And I didn't think they were really going to hold me to that. I was 10 years old, and, you know, but they held me to it. And I remember waking up Christmas morning thinking, okay, I remember thinking there'll be a Super Nintendo down there. Nope. Wasn't no Super Nintendo for Christmas. And I just was like, all right, if I want this, I got to get it on my own. But just going back to the video game part of it.
Give me a game.
Super Nintendo, what really killed it for me was they had Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And the thing is with the Super Nintendo, you didn't have to buy another 6-button controller because it already had 6 buttons on the controller.
2 on the top, yep.
You know, unlike if you had like Sega Genesis and you want to play Mortal Kombat, it wasn't really like playing, you know, it was cool, but it wasn't Mortal Kombat because it only had 3 buttons. You know, so with Super Nintendo, it already had the 6 buttons. You know, and they didn't make you try to buy a Sega CD or 32X, like all the fly stuff. They were able to make. You could get Star Fox and Donkey Kong Country, and then they had versions. Then they had Super Punch Out and Super Metroid, and you know, Legend of Mana. If you were into in Final Fantasy, if you love the are you
going with
RPGs.
Street Fighter Turbo?
Is that the thing? Is like as much. Oh yeah, if you want to get served, come over here. The thing is, I'll beat you with Dalsine.
Here we go.
You know, that's what I do. But as much as we all love the original Nintendo, if you go back, everybody talks about the same. There were 700 something games that came out for that system, and we all talk about the same 30 because most of the games that came out for the original Nintendo are trash after about 15 minutes.
There's some sleepers.
You know, that's why we still talk
sleepers. I agree with Terry on that.
But Dreamland.
But you know, there's a reason we talk about Contra and Blaster Master and Kirby and Legend. But you know, you go back and start playing some of these games. You're like, we were spending money on straight trash.
I got.
So yeah, but the Super Nintendo, I think those games, even 30 years later, hold up a lot. But Ken Griffey Jr. baseball, come on now. The only thing that held them back is like Madden was always better on Sega Genesis, and so was NHL hockey. But
Tri-Borough, we see you, man. Appreciate it.
Just saying, like Super Nintendo, it had I think the games hold up a lot.
The graphics was better too. So visually, definitely gonna remember that, because even with that Donkey Kong Country, remember that was like the first game to use it, kind of like that clay molding type. Characters or whatnot.
And then it even and everybody's like, how you gonna bring Killer Instinct to
Killer Instinct?
And then the Killer Instinct was dope. And then once the first Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo was whack because they took all the blood out. But once they got to Mortal Kombat 2, it was clear that Mortal Kombat 2 was way better on Super Nintendo than it was on Sega.
I'm going with I think I'm gonna go regular Nintendo. And
you can't go any past that anyways. It's the only thing it's the last thing you played.
Don't do that. I'm gonna go. Hey, the last console, I ain't gonna lie. The last console I copped was a PlayStation 2, I believe.
Wow, that was like
3 years after it came out.
2000.
Don't do that long.
2000.
Was it new when you got it?
It was new. Why you trying to play me? Why y'all trying to play me, man?
I mean, he bought a new one, but it was like 5 years later, right?
See,
it was like a new one when 3 was out.
It's what we bought a PlayStation 2 right before PlayStation 3 came out.
We're gonna veer off. Y'all not gonna let me finish. That's what we.
Sorry,
that's what we on.
That's a long time ago, G.
Listen, man, I haven't been. If I see somebody that has 2K, I'll hop on and. Alone always laugh at me with the games that have the perspective of looking like through the eye, like through somebody's eyes. I can't play them because I'm looking first person. I'm looking up and down. I don't know what direction is what. So
you don't know how to use the XY axis.
Trash at it. I ain't gonna lie, I'm trash. But Mario 3, man, is I probably say that's probably top 5 all time. Talk about
I will say Mario 3 is better than Super Mario World on Super Nintendo, and I love Mario World, but Super Mario 3
and also the nostalgia behind the Super Mario 3 was those that liked the movie Wizard. That was the game they had to play once they got to Las Vegas.
Yeah,
that was like the game of all games. So that definitely helps them.
But remember, they also had the Power Glove in that movie.
The Power Glove was trash.
My friend Kevin got that for Christmas. We played with it Christmas Day and never picked it up again.
Everything
the
that
Power
came
Glove
with
was so much trash.
Nintendo damn near was trash, except for the Power Pad. Because I had I actually had the Gyromite robot with mine.
The robot? Oh wow. Yeah, that was a gimmick. The people at Nintendo will be like, "Yeah, we never expect anybody."
I'm sleep
to
on that. I didn't. Yeah, I was sleep on that. Like
Rob, the robot operated buddy. You didn't know about
using
that?
With the game Gyromite.
Okay.
Gyromite actually was a decent game, but it was better to not use Rob the robot with it.
Yeah, if you had a friend as a second player, it was much.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to YouTube that thing because I was sleep on that. But yeah, man, Mario 3, man, that's the one. Like that's the one. And
so when are you gonna let DJ Metronome beat you in Tecmo Bowl though?
Oh man, well whenever his schedule open up, man, we can figure it out because I know how biased the coverage will be if you are doing the commentating. So I'm with it, man. It'll be fun. I'm with it. I just got to get a practice. I got to get a couple practice games in though, because not
gonna help.
It might not. It might not. It's gonna be a good time though. I'll openly. If I take the L, I'll have to take the L. But the thing is,
we might have to broadcast that live on YouTube. We'll see about that.
All right, man. Shout out to Kendall Mathis for making that suggestion for our first random topic. Appreciate you, sir. And let's go ahead and jump into this week's rundown. So, saw an article, Business Worldwide, and talks about Leor Cohen talking about how much money has been paid out for YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, we just made the transition to YouTube, and we're starting to go live from here now. But it says YouTube's global head of music revealed that YouTube paid the music industry over $4 billion in the previous 12 months. And it says that Cohen also stated that his platform's aim is to become the leading revenue generator for the music industry. That would mean overtaking Spotify's annual royalty payments, which in 2020 surpassed $5 billion. So it looks like they're trying to get this wave to YouTube. How do you feel about that, Lone? I'll come to you first because you always have been someone that's talked about YouTube and the possibilities that come with YouTube. Do you think this will start having more people wanting to come this direction instead of, you know, some of the streaming services? Because it sounds like YouTube's trying to make a big push. Man, that's a lot of money to be paid out to artists through YouTube.
It is. It's also still, I think, the one platform that pays artists the least amount per stream. There's that. So I think it has a ways to go in that aspect. So, but I do like the platform. I mean, YouTube to me, it's probably the most evolved platform, just content purposes, as far as video, the content ID system that they spent millions and millions of dollars on, which is something that, you know, things like Twitch don't even have. Right. You know, and it's got its own YouTube Music. I got an email for No Cosign, about a week ago, which is my record label that I run, and it basically said that they're combining YouTube Content ID with YouTube Music, which is kind of a big thing. So they're combining those two things together, so people on that use my distributor now won't have to select it as a separate option. So yeah, I mean, YouTube to me is typically kind of the trendsetter in a lot of ways. I think they get left off of left out of the conversation a lot of times because they're known primarily for video. But I mean, it's like the biggest search platform, and now there's YouTube TV. You know, you can spend $65 or something a month. I don't know what it is, but whatever the fee is to have, you know, it's like cable. You know, you get hundreds of channels and stuff, you know, so
live television, whole nine.
Yep. So I don't know. I think with Cohen ahead, you said Lear Cohen was running it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember when he took it over. So, you know, I would not be surprised to see YouTube make, you know, even a bigger push. But I do think that they need to address the fact that they do pay the least amount for royalties, regardless of if they're paying out a lot of money. So that should be factored into the equation, in my opinion.
I'm not mad at that. Jay Moore, what are your thoughts on a possible YouTube push? As a consumer, do you stream more than do you use YouTube a lot? You know, like, because I use YouTube more than I actually realized. From a consumer standpoint, do you use YouTube a lot, and could you see that wave being something that might pick up some steam?
I think the steam's already been picked up. I mean, like, at this point, I watch YouTube more than I watch anything. I have Hulu, Netflix, and HBO Max and Amazon, and watch YouTube more than any of those platforms. You know, because there is user created content there, whether it be for politics, whether it be for news, whether it be for sports, that I watch every day. It's almost like I have a schedule of things that I'm going to watch on YouTube. Like, I don't even have, at this point, I don't even have my, I keep meaning to do it, but I just don't have my antenna hooked to my television because I never watch anything live on television.
I don't either, I'll be honest.
You know, the on-demand model is here and people are used to it. Like, there are shows that I thoroughly enjoy, but I only watch them on Hulu. So I don't know when these shows come on. I just know that, like, I take that back. I know when they come on because I'm able to stream them the day after, you know. So if it's something that comes on Tuesday, then I know I'm available to stream it on Wednesday. But going back to YouTube, just think about, I'm old enough to remember when they would say, we're going to premiere said video at this time on BET or MTV or back when they weren't both owned by Viacom. There was a thing where it was like, oh, MTV exclusive, BET exclusive. Like, it made a lot of, black music departments upset, because I remember at one point, Heavy D, and he talked about this in our Arsenio Hall show, because I'm that old and I remember this, when he put out the Now That We Found Love joint, like, it was determined it was going to be an MTV exclusive, despite the fact that, like, up to that point, they hadn't really, they hadn't supported Heavy D like BET had. But the politics game is like, yo, if we can get a 2-week exclusive on this particular video, it means a lot. Now when a video comes out, like, they'll say there's going to be a new Megan Thee Stallion video, and everybody says it's coming out midnight Eastern Standard Time, on Friday. Then everybody has it. As long as you have a phone or computer or video game system that has YouTube, you have access to that. Now, I realize what Lone said as far as them not paying you a certain rate, or they're probably the worst as far as what they pay per stream or view. But think about this: when your videos were getting played on MTV or VH1 or the Box, for those of you who remember that, you weren't getting paid anything at all. It wasn't. And the thing is, now, since it's such an on-demand, I looked at, there was the Future and Drake record that came out last year, and when you get to look at the metrics, that song's been streamed 1.9 billion times.
Wonder what that
with a B. So if you have a hit song and people really want to see the visual, I mean, it sounds crazy because they're paying you like in hay pennies, but if you add that up, and you get a 1.9 billion streams, I mean, it still sounds messed up. They're like, oh yeah, they made $4 million off of that, but like, if it had been viewed by 1 billion people on MTV, you wouldn't have gotten anything.
Jay Diff, man,
but also to that, the way that it's built into, the way the content ID stuff is built into it, if I upload Jay Moore's music to my channel, and your content ID is connected to it, you get a specific rate from that. But if you upload it to your own channel, you actually get a different rate, which is actually a little bit better. So it's very nuanced, and there's a lot to it, but it is significantly lower still than everything else. So that is definitely the bonus. And obviously we're here streaming live on YouTube, and all that good stuff. So
hey Diff, what you think, man? From you, just as a consumer, like, are you on YouTube a lot? I know we all stream. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that's might be possibly a wave?
It's definitely the wave. I mean, it started out with YouTube. Now they don't even go to the TV. It's pretty much starts with YouTube. There's TV shows on YouTube that they automatically know, and somehow they all telepathically watch the same exact shows and know what's going on. So that's already a thing. As far as the whole music thing goes with YouTube, it's like a conglomerate now, because those of us that prefer Android over iPhone use Google Play Music. Google Play Music has actually transitioned into YouTube Music. So the exact same platform that we're using to stream music has now turned into YouTube Music, which is streaming the music and videos. You actually have an opportunity or a choice to stream the video or the music while it's playing. And it's smart on YouTube's end, but at the same time, it's almost like they're becoming the Amazon of media for the most part, because they're in every facet. So whenever you think of something, like you want to learn something to do, you go to YouTube. How do you change your brakes? Let me check on YouTube. What's the latest song out? You go to YouTube. What's the next video streaming? Go to YouTube. And they just pretty much have the media game sewed up. And there's been people that try to come after them,
Vimeo.
It fell.
Vimeo's making a big push right now.
They're failing because YouTube is just that name. When you think of videos, you think of YouTube. It's like
they're like, oh,
it's the acme of real life. You remember in all the Bugs Bunny cartoons, they always use Acme was the stamp that was on everything.
Yep.
Right.
YouTube is pretty much that for media. So it's good in that aspect for the ease of accessibility. But as far as the monetary portion of it, the streamers, we know that it takes a certain amount of hours or whatnot in order for you to actually generate that income. And for a musician, it's a little harder for them to hit those marks because it doesn't pay the exact same as far as the music streaming side versus the media or visual streaming side. So you got to be much educated on how you're going to put things out. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of these artists try to cheat the code or whatnot and put out these albums with super extended track lists, like 20 and 30 songs, because they're trying to trick the algorithm in order to continually pay themselves or continue to have themselves pop up for the consumer to be able to check them out. So I mean, it's pluses and minuses to it. But it definitely gets the artists out there, and it's a great platform for that, especially since YouTube, I mean, not YouTube, but BET and MTV do not play videos anymore. Like there's videos for songs that came out and they'll pop up on YouTube and I don't even know they had a video for it.
Yeah.
Because to MTV and BET, they don't promote videos at all anymore. So, I mean,
and one more,
because why would they?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
and one more point to all this is the difference just from a functionality standpoint of what YouTube has built into their algorithm as opposed to a lot of other streaming services. I know other streaming services have discoverability options, but the YouTube algorithm is really good, and it works really good for content creators and for musicians that are listening to things and what they suggest. And the fact that you can go from listening to a song to maybe watching an interview with the artist to then maybe, I mean, it's just hard to compare that to something that just streams music, you know? So.
I could dig it, man. All of y'all made good points. Yeah, especially that point about kids being introduced to things directly from YouTube. It just shows you the evolution, how things change. Because you're right. Every time I, see my little cousins or any of my friends that have kids, they have a tablet and YouTube is pulled up every single time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And they even have YouTube for kids to make sure that nothing else. I mean, because YouTube is full of everything. You can find any and everything on YouTube, but they have apps to where it's designed for kids, so it only pulls certain things. That just tells you the power of it. And me having a 1.5-year-old right now, I'm experiencing it firsthand. Like literally, YouTube, CoComelon, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That is all that stuff that all the kids know it too.
You know what, if we were smart, we would turn this show into a kids show and stream only for children.
You can see the streams on those shows,
bro. The streams on the kids only content is ridiculous.
Have you seen the streams on Baby Shark?
Oh my god!
Well, see, that's the
dude. The person does Baby Shark.
Baby Shark
$8 million
is on
a
every
month.
one of the kids. So all the kids shows sing Baby Shark.
Yeah.
Even the parodies of Baby Shark are out here getting money.
You talking about a bag, boy? Man, like that's a lot of money when you think about that, man. Just think about what y'all just said about the number of streams and how much money that yields. That's crazy.
Listen, and when you just think of the video side of YouTube by itself, you have YouTubers that are literally millionaires from content. Based on the number of people that view their content. And I mean, they're regular people. They just make content that people find interesting, and they get on YouTube and they have residual income coming in. Strictly off the strength of that. So
shout out to the chat. Thomas Roberts said will be interesting to see if Spotify rolls out the video features It's testing on podcasts for music artists as well. That's a good point, sir. Nate says YouTube for kids is some. All right. All right, man. That's that. My man. Shout out to my man, Nate Jeezy. All right, man. Let's go. Let's get into the next topic. Now, this is something that I kind of threw out there on one of my social media pages just to, get a conversation started and just to see perspective. And got almost. I don't know, man.
I think you're out of order.
Am I out of order?
Yep.
Oh, well, if I'm out of order, I'll come back to that. Let's go to. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah. Appreciate you, Long. All right. So let's talk about the Migos. So I saw this on genius.com where they have the rap lyrics and I always put the quotables up there. So there's a quote from the Migos, an offset from the Migos, and I'm going to read this quote and see what y'all think about this. It says people get away with not saying nothing as long as the cadence and the flow are good. And I feel like we created that. So the Migos, who are very influential, I'll never take that away from them. I think a lot of people have jumped on their wave and used it and applied it and, ran into the ground at this point. I'd never say they're not influential. But that comment to me, I know that it seems like they're trying to reach out to get a lot of credit that they believe and feel that they deserve. But I don't know if you want to be associated with that. Is that the type of comment that you want to be associated with? People get away with not saying nothing as long as the cadence and flow are good. And I feel like we created that. Is that a badge of honor? How do y'all feel about that comment? Jay Diff, I'll come to you first.
I think it's cap for one.
It's cap? Okay. Talk to me.
It's definitely cap because if we want to get technical about things, James Brown had a lot of stuff where you didn't know what he was saying.
Okay.
Let's forward to 90s hip hop. That's effects with the boom stickety whatever they was doing.
The first
boom,
album,
stickety boom, stickety boom.
Don't do that, Long. Don't do that.
Now, when you fast forward to now with the mumble rap category,
okay,
maybe you might have a point. At the same time, they're saying their cadences, they're not saying anything. Is that's what you're saying?
He says
they popularized rapping about nothing, but having good flows.
Okay. Yeah, that's thank you, Long. Yep.
Rapping about nothing. Okay. Well, I mean, if that's the hill they want to die on, then
that's what I'm asking.
Because at the end of the day, who wants to be known for that? Because even when we talk about Young Thug, and I've said this for years. I've told y'all this.
Yeah.
Even on the show, Young Thug has some of the best patterns as far as mumbles are concerned, like as far as the actual hook.
Wait. Run that back again. He has the best patterns in terms of mumbles.
Like I gave the example of like when you're in a recording and you're telling the artist to do a certain thing, but you're saying it a certain way, but there are actually words attached to it.
Scatting.
That's what I call
right?
Scatting.
Okay.
That's what I attribute some of the stuff that Young Thug does.
Okay.
He's one of the best in the game at doing it. Honestly, I don't know what he's talking about a lot of the times. Even this new song on the radio that has 50,000 remixes. What's it called?
That record is big, man. I can't call the name of it, but I know when I hear it.
Treasure Troll looking dude.
Yeah.
Spot him, got him.
Yeah.
Man,
everybody I don't know what a spot him got him is.
Beatbox. That's what it's called. Beatbox.
Beatbox. But look, I heard
not stand
a Mickey Mouse version of that.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That song, I couldn't tell you what he's talking about. So if Migos want to claim that influence, they can have that.
Okay.
If that's, like I said, if that's the hill they want to die on, then let them have it.
I personally wouldn't want to.
For them, they ain't the best artists on QC anymore. So,
well, I personally wouldn't want to rock that badge, but maybe I'm old. Lone, how you feel about it, man? You want to wear that?
I don't care, man. Like who cares? Like we've been saying this for years. Like the Migos aren't saying anything. I mean, maybe Future. Was Future before the Migos? Because Future's got some random stuff in his bars.
Future's is the auto-tune factor. It's not
Is that
just
all it is?
That's
I
pretty
feel like
much
he's
what
kind of
is,
random
auto-tune.
too. I feel like he's random too, though. I don't think he mumbles, but I don't know. I wouldn't even call Migos really mumble rappers. I don't know. Maybe they are.
Nah, I wouldn't put that on them. I think they're better than that. But I'm just saying, it's just weird to me that you want to wear that. Like, yeah, we made this cool. Like,
it's like
I mean,
it's
dumb
all the
to
younger
me.
cats is like they're trying to point at themselves as pioneers of certain things. I think Soulja Boy kind of started that, saying he's the first to do this, first to do that.
Yeah,
it's like they all want to be first to have done something, but at the end of the day, there's nothing new under the sun. All this has been done before. It's just been done in different ways.
I could be the first to climb on my roof and do a backflip off of it into a canopy of chocolate, but why would I want to do that?
That was done on Charlie.
Why would you want to be
Factory.
known for that?
It's already been done, sir.
Well, okay. Well, replace it with Jell-O that's flavored watermelon that has Snickers bars in it. It's like, who cares? I don't know. That's just me, though.
I feel you, Lone. Wrap this up for me, Jay Moore, so we can get into this last topic. This last one's gonna be a good one.
Look, there's always been what I like to call empty calorie rap. I mean, and don't the Migos are not the first to do it, and they will not be the last. For them to try to take credit for it, I mean, like I said, like we've all said, do you really want to be known for that? I know maybe you think that you innovate, and a lot of people have stolen, I don't want to say stolen, but been influenced by the Migos. But do you really want to take credit for some of this influence? Like I said, it's a lot of empty calorie hip hop or rap or whatever it is you want to call it. And I don't know if the culture is better or worse off for it, but it's already here. And like I said, but you're not the first to do what I call empty calorie rap. So don't try to die on that hill.
It just jumped out to me, man, because I read the confidence, like I could hear the confidence in that comment. Like, yeah, we did this. And I'm like, I don't know.
Lil Baby shining, man. They gotta have something on them. They gotta have some kind of spotlight on them, because Lil Baby then took over QC for the most part.
And
plus this is what, once again, because we don't have traditional rollouts, the Migos Culture 3 comes out on Friday. So you got to start.
I mean, neither.
You got to start making these sort of proclamations to get people talking about you on all the syndicated morning shows and to cause these sort of controversies. This is the rollout
boy
now.
Duke Deuce. He coming up on that roster as well. Yeah. So
see somebody in the chat though that said that using Migos in the same as 𝐷AS_FX is blasphemous. To be honest with you, based on just the time that they came around, 𝐷AS_FX really wasn't all that, man. If you sit back and really think about it, they had one album, and it was gimmicky for the most part.
Well, let's go into some 𝐷AS_FX, because 𝐷AS_FX had some.
The album Dead Serious was dope. The album Dead Serious was dope. Yeah, I ain't gonna front.
I mean, because everybody remembers They Want Effects, and
it's a good album. Though.
Check. And
it is.
Yeah,
it's a good album.
I had to take
my record and my Hold It Down came out in '95. That record was dope. So shout out to 𝐷AS_FX. I don't want them compared to the Migos in any way, shape, or form. Of course. That's what makes me a new old head. I would rather listen to 𝐷AS_FX album from '95 than I will whatever Migos. Don't get me wrong. Stir Fry is still my joint. That's a lot. You can tell what Pharrell did for them, and then they're just regular production. Like that Pharrell track is light years ahead of anything else that they've ever done.
I'll definitely check the album. Like I definitely will peep the album. The joint they drop called Straightening is actually straight.
They stuff like all sounds the same to me though.
It definitely does. But I'm gonna check it out. I definitely will give it a run and give them a listen. Long, you want to shout? We'll give a shout out to partners real quick before we get into our last topic.
Let's do it.
We'd like to thank our partners for the New Old Heads podcast. No Bad Ideas Clothing Company, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl, Sun King Brewery, and the hub for all things New Old Heads, bringingdowntheband.com. Remember, once you type Bringing Down the Band in the search bar on YouTube and the page populates, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And as always, we thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
All right. Not sure what's going on there, but yeah, we're back.
We are back. All right, let's go ahead and get into our last topic here. Thanks for correcting me, Lone, on our order. Get me back in business. Appreciate you there. All right, so shout out to the chat. Nate Jeezy said, let's see, the second album was better, but it didn't sell as well. He's speaking about DOS Effects. So I was on Dead Serious, but the second album was cool, but I definitely was on Dead Serious. Let's see what else. Migos got a few joints that got a different sound. You got to dig for them though. Okay, maybe I'm not digging.
Yeah, I don't want to do.
maybe I'm just not digging enough. Shout out to my man Freddie G, the General. I see you, homie. That's the homie right there. Dope artist. Make sure y'all check him out as well. He's in the chat. I appreciate you rocking with us, fam.
No, we don't do 𝗡𝗲𝗄 𝗀𝗱𝗚. Sorry, I love you, Freddie though.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, forgot. Let's go into this third topic here. So I threw this one out on my social media, one of my social media pages, to see different perspectives and see where people were coming from. And I think people are still commenting on this now, and I put it up yesterday. And the question I posed is, who is the most influential group in from the South ever? Rap group. Most influential group from the South ever. Now, I saw some names that were thrown around, but I kept seeing like the same 3 or 4. I saw 2 Live Crew. These are the ones I saw the most. 2 Live Crew, Ghetto Boys, Outkast, and I believe 8Ball and MJG, or maybe UGK. Those were the ones that I saw the most. And I'll come to you first, Jay Diff. You and I were having a conversation prior to coming on about influential versus best and the difference, and you were breaking that down, dropping science on that. But to that actual question, what do you think in terms of the most influential group? I saw 3 6 as well. 666 was on there a lot too. Most influential hip hop group in your personal opinion. Just taking everything into consideration.
Right. Now I want to be clear on this because
break it down.
Claiming or saying the best hip hop group does not have to mean that they are the most influential. And I think that's where people kind of cross the lines there. They want to tell you who their favorite group is versus who was the most influential in that area or that region. And if I'm going with my favorite group in the South, or ever, really, it would be Outkast. If I have to tell you who my favorite group is. Now, as far as being the most influential group, you have to factor in who kind of try to mimic their style, who try to mimic their hustle, their drive, their ambition. When you're talking about something like that, you would almost have to go with the Ghetto Boys based on and they came up under Rap a Lot. Down South, a sound. When you think of Maja playing tricks on me, it kind of had that down South kind of sound. You know what I'm saying, to it, or even like 8Ball MJG. I don't know who the most influential is down South.
It's a tough question, man. When you think about it,
it's such a melting pot down South that. You can go with P. You go with No Limit Records as far as being the most influential. If you want to be technical about it, it doesn't have to be your favorite, but just saying, I don't know who is the most influential.
That's what I'm saying, because for me, I fall under the Outkast tree, And it's probably more because I know to me, they're the best group to ever come out of South. It ain't even close, but that's not what we're talking about, right? So it's easy for me to just throw that out there because I'm such a big fan of theirs.
Exactly.
I do think they are. I think they are influential from a standpoint of showing people in the South that you can get recognition, and the South is actually dope. Like, they really help put the South on the map.
Nobody can mimic that sound though. Nobody can mimic Outkast. So when you talk about influential, you have to actually hear the influence in these artists.
No,
so
if
we go to influential as far as production wise, I would have to almost go with Lil Jon.
See, my thing is going back through it and thinking about it. I'm not too sure that it's not 3 6 Mafia when you think about production. I'm talking about DJ Paul.
That's in the same realm as Lil Jon too, because it's that extra energy type sound. So I mean, if you're going with that, then
because
I can see 3 6.
I can see 3 6. I can see 3 6 more than I could see Ghetto Boys, because it's not influential. Doesn't mean most influential, right? Just because you first, that don't mean necessarily that you're gonna be the most influential.
Right.
I'm not saying the Ghetto Boys not dope. I'm just saying what you said. We talked about sound, and like DJ Paul got a lot of kids running around here right now in 2021.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep it a buck, right?
It's true.
So I had to sit back and think about 3 6. Like, they are there. Like, they got to be a finalist if anything. Them. I still hear elements of Pimp C production today, 2021. You know what I'm saying? So I had to think about that, man. And I don't know, 3 6 it's tough, man. It's tough to keep them out of it. Now that I think about it, we'll jump into the chat here, and I'll see what the chat's talking about as well. But Jay Moore, jump in there, man. Just
it's 3 6 and it's not even close. It's 3 6 Mafia and it's not even close, because you got to understand, like, as somebody who's still out here in the club, I still hear the influence of 3 6 Mafia in 2020. When I hear Pooh Shiesty's Back in Blood, that's a 3 6 Mafia song. When I hear certain things that Cardi B does, and that's somebody from the East Coast, that's 3 6 Mafia. I mean, like, she basically remade a Project Pat and LaChat song. When I hear someone like G-Eazy, who did a song with Cardi B, that's somebody from Oakland. That's the 3 6 Mafia. Like, you can play, like, 3 6 Mafia's music was so far ahead of its time that it's just now really getting the props it deserves. And now, like, that's legacy music for what's being made right now. Like, people are sampling 3 6 Mafia songs to make new records. Like, there's nobody, as far as, like, when you talk about just musicality, I mean, I know everybody wants to get into lyrics and metaphysicals and all that. No, when we talk about what is moving the culture, nobody has a bigger influence coming out of the South than 3 6 Mafia, and it's not even close. And I love Outkast. I love the Ghetto Boys. But the thing is, what Outkast did, like, people couldn't even try to mimic that.
It's too good.
They were so much better than everybody. And I'm not, and this is not to besmirch 3 6 Mafia, because I felt like when I put out my year-end list last year, like, Juicy J's album was in my top 10 because I felt like, okay, what he's doing what he's always been doing, but the fact that it still fits into the musical landscape of what works right now just lets you know exactly how far ahead of the game they were. I mean, as much as I love these other groups, nobody has had an influence out of the South that can still be heard in the culture today like the 3 6 Mafia. It is
the more
what
I thought about it, man. Like, the more I thought about it, they have to be a finalist. At minimum, a finalist in my
not just the finalists, they are the final. They're the winners. You put on a 3 6 Mafia song for people who are 25 years old, and it still works in a way that
it's the energy.
as much as I love 8Ball and MJG, like there's stuff that they did in the 90s. It's not gonna move the crowd the same way. Like those 3 6 Mafia songs have.
You can drop some 8Ball here.
Thickness.
Especially being in the clubs in Naptown, you could drop some 8Ball MJG here and it would go nuts. Now, 8Ball MJG opened up the Outkast concert, the last one they had in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I tell you, when they opened up for Outkast and they dropped what was the first song they came out to? I want to say Don't Make.
Okay.
You should have seen the whole crowd when that song came on.
Yeah.
Atlanta. And you know what it does here. So
yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm with y'all when you're right. 3 6 Mafia definitely has a sound that people are still using and mimicking to this day. Outkast was a whole different type of energy.
Yeah. That you can't you're not about to just go. You're not about to just go and try to duplicate organized noise. It ain't gonna happen, fam. It's just I don't see that working for you. You're not gonna pull that off well. Lone, talk to me, man. Or are you gonna give me or is that coming? I'm just asking. Do you have any
it's not coming. Yeah, for sure. I don't agree with 3 6 Mafia, but the reason I don't agree with 3 6 Mafia is because I feel the argument is being made from one very particular angle. Okay. And I feel like this type of question in general, there is not one answer to it. I mean, we're trying to come to an absolute answer to it, and I'm not trying to deny 3 6 Mafia by any means, but depending on who we're talking about, and we're depending on what type of influence we're talking about. Are we talking about artistic influence, or are we talking about influence on what people like? Okay. I think that it goes multiple ways. It's undeniable, in my opinion, that I'm trying to articulate this in an appropriate way here, but we can say that 3 6 Mafia still has and still is, or maybe they're king right now with their influence. Okay. But was their influence in the last 10 to 15 years as big as it is right now? Would you say that?
That's a good question.
Is it as big right now?
Yes. Or is it something that something okay.
And I know there's the conversation we've had about what does the club factor into hip hop culture, but like when I hear the biggest song in the club right now, I hear a 3 6 Mafia record. That 𝗏𝗲𝗄𝗎𝗓, that's a 3 6 Mafia record all day.
3 6 Mafia.
Yeah. For sure. Okay.
Content and
again,
the beat, I was like, Paul might could have done that.
Go ahead.
I don't want to take away from 3 6. That's not my intent here. I think what my main goal of speaking on this is that I feel like the Ghetto Boys have such a huge influence. I feel like No Limit has such a huge influence. I feel like Outkast has such a huge influence. I feel like 2 Live Crew has such a huge influence. I feel like Little Brother, obviously not as big as them, but like in so many different circles.
Cash
the
Money,
South,
definitely.
Exactly. I didn't even mention Cash Money, but the South is so big, and there's so many different sounds within this in the South that we're used to. We're used to mention in the same 4 or 5 groups or whatever, but they're all from different regions.
Texas, you can literally just use Texas as far as an influence overall down south, because you got so many different groups and sounds out of Texas. Ghetto Boys being one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy. UGK, another one, and that's why I couldn't really pinpoint who's the most influential now. To Jay Moore's point, as far as what's most popular right now, that 3 6 Mafia sound, hands down.
Right. For sure.
When you're talking about, I know what you're getting at as far as different avenues of influence. So I understand what you're saying, because I'm kind of torn with that too.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like even though we don't hear a ton of like the Outkast sound, it's hard to gauge that because their sound was so unique. When we think about the Love Below and Speaker Box,
yeah,
we haven't heard anything that sounds like the Love Below ever, you know. But
hell no.
But at the same time, I was heavily influenced by that album. So you know what I mean? Like it was a big record. And Outkast, and then when you factor in Organized Noise, I feel like they've had the most universal appeal. But you guys make extremely strong arguments for 3-6. And, you know, that's, man, the Lil Waynes of the world and the Cash Moneys and the Master P's, like, it's so huge. So it's, for me, it's just hard to pinpoint, like, to say, like, you know, Outkast is the biggest, or 3-6, or UGK, or, you know, whoever. It's just,
it's almost like one of them things where we would have to have a scientific breakdown like we did the artists.
Nah, for sure.
Who is actually the most influential? Because when you talk about Outkast, and that name keeps coming up because it's a lot of our favorite group. Outkast influenced people to be more creative. For us being stuck in that same lane, I would say. So that's more of a universal influence versus a sound influence. But when you're talking about a sound influence, you have to go about it a different way, which is what brings 3-6 Mafia into the fold, because those type beats and those that drive is very relevant right now.
Right. Even with I brought up Cash Money. You know, on the post, you know, I started to see, you know, some of the similar names, same names start to pop up. But to Lone's point, I saw people list like 5 names. Like,
let's all make fun of Mike while he's frozen.
He didn't have his
Might
need to give him his sticker.
Well, that's what, you know. That's what happens when you get that Boost Mobile internet.
Don't do that.
Y'all heard that.
Terry be the main one, man. Don't do that.
See, I didn't even say much that time.
Why you got to do all that?
All right, back to what I was saying. Hey, y'all not right, man. But I saw people posting like 5 names instead of 1. To Lone's point, because there are so many different types of influences. But Cash Money, man, you think about them, No Limit. Just as a conglomerate, those labels like huge, like Manny Fresh. What?
Yeah,
like it's a lot. Manny Fresh got a lot of kids running around here from a production standpoint. A lot. You know what I'm saying? So
those are 2 strong record labels when you talk about Cash Money and No Limit. They're both from New Orleans.
Yeah.
But even when I'm talking about, that Memphis
sound is different though.
I mean, because that Memphis sound made it all the, you know, is took over the country, and is still running like people are, you know, from Ray Shrimmer to like people from the East Coast, the West Coast, they all taken off of.
I mean, ASAP Rocky
right now
came out. You could arguably state that his sound was influenced by 3-6 Mafia, or you could take it to Midwest and say Bone Thugs and Harmony. But those were the only 2 that you could say.
He said it though. He said it in the interview, even with them being from where they're from. He said he used to listen to that, a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? And it came out in the music. To your point. So yeah, man, it's an interesting topic, man. It's interesting conversation because it's to Lone hit the nail on the head when you talk about how big the South is, and like you said with Texas alone, Terry, like it's just a lot of music down there, man. But people like Manny Fresh and Paul, like they got to get their flowers, man, from a production standpoint.
We didn't even talk about the DJ Screw influence.
True,
right?
True,
Texas, yeah,
true. Yep.
I mean,
that's another one.
I mean, technically, Primo's from Texas, right? So
yes.
Hey, you're gonna do that, you know. Shout out to Prairie View.
I mean, if we want to go down that road, you know what I'm saying? We want to go down that road.
The DLC is as well.
Yeah.
DLC heavily influenced that NWA sound. Right as cat.
Yeah.
Let me look at it.
You know, they had to get them country boys to come get it right.
Hey, Long.
I'm just saying, like, it's and the influential thing. It's like the nuance of words. You know, it's like what, like, it's so hard to. Then we have to talk about, like, are we talking about like like the popularity aspect of things? Are we talking about the artistic styles that, and then what's the common denominator? What's the lowest mean for like it's, again, I don't want to like clown 3-6 or anything like that, but some of the stuff that Outkast and Organized Noise was doing was a lot more complex. You know, somebody else said that earlier than like some of the stuff that you're hearing from 3-6. So it's like
already, yeah.
I mean, let's look at some of the comments. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Lon. I didn't want to cut you off.
Nah, that's
my fault.
No, you're good. I'm just saying, like, it's just it's one of them open-ended conversations that we could talk about this forever. So.
Yeah. I'm looking in the chat now. Let's see. I want to get a couple of these comments in. We appreciate you guys for being in the chat, rocking with us, and keeping this chat active. We really appreciate it. 𝗏𝗏𝗄 says, I'm going with Outkast. 2 different personalities, flawless discography. They changed the game. I'm not mad at that, sir. Freddie G says, I would say Outkast. They led the takeover when the South dominated music. I'm not mad at that either. Flood says individuals and groups are more, have a greater influence than groups. Scarface influenced a lot of MCs. Okay. I'm not mad at that. DJ Nate
Scarface made it to the Mount Rushmore on last week's discussion, so that's a fact.
That's a fact. Nate Jeezy says Crunk started in Memphis. Talk to him and shout out to Duke Deuce because he's definitely bringing that mug back. UGK influenced a lot of current groups. That's what the Flood said. Outkast also had the most range. Freddie G. Yep, we talked about that. Poppy Amon, I see you. He says 3-6 Mafia. Let's see. Nate Jeezy says people are literally remaking 3-6 Mafia songs today. To Jay Moore's point, he definitely said that. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of the names that we talked about, even in the chat. Outkast brought the whole ATL with them. They sure did. Let's see. Bump Jonas, appreciate you. Says Outkast set the standard for being different. Yeah. I think we all are in the same area, but it's just hard to pin it down, man. Like the more I think about it, and even us having this conversation now, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I could argue that LaFace Records brought the whole South with them. And that's just because I wanted to sneak in a Naptown influence, that being Babyface, that was a part owner of LaFace Records. LaFace changed the game down south.
Like, yeah, that's the face of LaFace.
Okay. Yes, changed the game.
I mean, when you and if you want to talk about Midwest, this is the crazy thing, because Babyface in LA, that's Indianapolis and Cincinnati, Ohio. Then when you think about a Metro Boomin, that's St. Louis. Then you bring it back to Coach K, that's Indianapolis. You know who's really influenced the South?
We're gonna end it on that note. I appreciate you.
We're just gonna leave it at that.
We appreciate you all in the chat rocking with us, Jeremy. I see you. I appreciate you, brother. Make sure you all check us out and follow and subscribe on the New Old Heads Network here on YouTube. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you can be notified every time we put our content up. We appreciate all the support and hope you continue to rock with us. We'll see y'all next week.
NewOldHeads.com.
Bang.
Yep.